Joining me now is Hudson Valley Congressman Mike Lawler, who attended the Israeli Prime Minister's speech. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Susan.
So what are your main takeaways?
Look, I thought it was a very powerful, well-delivered speech that had very sharp and pointed comments, including calling those who have supported Hamas useful idiots for Iran. And I think obviously making a very strong point about the importance of the U.S.-Israel relationship, the need to bring the hostages home, including the 8 American hostages who are still being held, 3 deceased, 5 living. I have met with these families numerous times over the course of the last 10 months. And obviously their primary concern is getting their loved ones home. And I appreciate that he did make that an important part of his speech, as well as obviously to focus on the need to combat the threat from Iran, from Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, the proxies in Iran's terror network. And so, I think there was broad bipartisan support throughout the speech, obviously moments of more partisanship in terms of applause, but I think by and large, Congress obviously showed its broad bipartisan commitment to the state of Israel.
So you mentioned that he talked about the efforts to broker a deal to return the hostages. What specifically did he say, and did he offer a timeline?
I think we're close, certainly from my conversations and the conversations that the families have had with the administration. They're going to be meeting with President Biden and the Prime Minister tomorrow together, which I think is an important meeting. They just met with the Prime Minister and Speaker Johnson after the speech as well. They are close in terms of reaching an agreement, and obviously the terms of which are yet to be released. But the point is ultimately that there is a continued negotiation to get the hostages home. You have over 100 hostages remaining, including the 8 Americans. And for me and many of my colleagues, this is the priority, to get our American citizens home, back to their families. And so I think they're close. I think the president obviously is very focused on this, especially now that he has decided not to run for re-election. This is, I know, a priority of the administration.
So I want to pivot to something that you and Democratic Congressman Richie Torres are working on. You're both sponsoring a bill to increase security for presidential candidates after the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Tell us about the bill. How would it work?
Well, look, our election should be determined by votes at a ballot box, not by bullets flying at a rally. And so it is critically important that we make sure that there is no resource that is left on the table here. And we need to expend all resources available, including enhanced Secret Service protection for anyone that is running for President of the United States. From
anyone.
Donald Trump, from Donald Trump to Kamala Harris to RFK Jr. RFK Jr.'s family has twice been victim of political assassination. Based on the FBI director's testimony in a hearing today, it is clear that the gunman even looked up the JFK assassination just days before firing that shot. And so, to me, the Secret Service has a responsibility to ensure the safety and well-being of anyone in its care. The fact that this gunman was able to get on that roof, have a direct line of sight at the president, and fire a bullet is unconscionable. And my point, and Congressman Torres's point, is that we should expend all resources to make sure that they have enhanced Secret Service protection. The same level that is given to the current president should be provided to candidates who would be president. We should not be in this situation.
No, absolutely not. There are other candidates, however, that will be appearing on the ballot, people like Cornel West, for example. So where do you draw the line? There are actually hundreds of people who run for president. You can't get everybody.
Right. Within the bill, we define, obviously, nationally recognized candidates and how it would be defined within the law. But again, the point is that somebody who is nationally recognized, who has the potential to appear on the ballot in multiple states, is polling at X percent.
Got it.
We need to take seriously the threat.
So you and Richie Torres are both strong supporters of Israel. Do you plan to work on other bills together in the future?
Well, we have already passed into law together the special envoy for the Abraham Accords. We have worked together on several bills, this being the latest. I think it's important, and there's a reason I've been rated the fourth most bipartisan member of Congress, because I am willing to work across the aisle, whether it's with Richie Torres from the Bronx, or Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey, or Jared Moskowitz from Florida. We have a lot of work to do in Congress, and it really does require broad bipartisan support, and you have to be willing to put aside differences and work together.
Absolutely. So just yesterday, the embattled head of the Secret Service announced her resignation. In fact, the political landscape has changed considerably since last week, leaving, Biden leaving the campaign, leaving a path open for Kamala Harris to run. I just wanted to ask you quickly about Kamala Harris's campaign. What do you think?
Look, I don't think much changes. She worked hand in glove with President Biden. She takes responsibility for the economic climate that we're in, the cost of living still astronomically high, the border crisis in which 10 million migrants have crossed into our country, most of them illegally, and obviously the crises that have bubbled up around the world. So at the end of the day, personalities aside, this is going to be an election determined about the policies and the future of the country. And I think, she owns the Biden administration's policies and its failure.
We have been speaking with 17th Congressional District Republican Mike Lawler. He is introducing new bipartisan legislation that would increase Secret Service protection for presidential candidates. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.